Our first winter storm of the year is about to impact the United States, and this is going to bring a bunch of snow to areas near the Great Lakes, but more notably, we could even see snow as far south as Tennessee and northern Georgia, and some of the coldest weather that we've seen in over 7 months is about to impact a large chunk of the United States. Anywhere east of the Rockies is at risk of freezing temperatures over the next couple of days, including Florida, and on top of that, we are expecting a widespread freeze all up and down the East Coast. So in today's forecast, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know about the weather that'll be impacting the United States over the next 7 days. And we'll begin with what's happening across the country today. And right now, we have a storm system that is making its way across the Midwest. For many of you this morning in areas like Chicago, Wisconsin, even Indiana and Michigan, you might be seeing your first snowfall of the year right now, but that's only going to ramp up as we go throughout the day today. And even into tomorrow and Tuesday, that snowfall is going to continue to remain a possibility. Further down to the south and east, we don't have much happening right now, but we actually have a cold frontal boundary that is all set up across parts of Oklahoma, Missouri, and Illinois. And throughout the day today, this is going to continue to drop rapidly down to the south. And what that's going to do is that it is going to drop temperatures by as much as 30 to 40 degrees. That is just over the next 24 hours across the southern plains, the southeast, including Florida, and all up and down the East Coast. Now let's talk more about the watches and warnings across the United States. Right now, we have freeze warnings in effect all across the southern plains, including most of Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. Freeze watches are in the lighter blue colors. And then we also have winter weather advisories in the purple, winter storm warnings in the pink, and winter storm watches in the blue. I wouldn't even be surprised if a blizzard warning was issued today in parts of northwestern Indiana, where the winds are going to be very intense and a lot of heavy snow is in the forecast, as heavy bands of snow be coming right off of Lake Michigan. Additionally, there is a possibility of snow literally anywhere that I just circled. We could see snow in parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, even parts of Ohio and Indiana, and even though you might not be in a winter storm watch or warning, that does not mean you're not going to see snowfall. Now let's talk more about the timing of this winter storm, exactly where we're going to see snow and how much snow is going to fall. Beginning with what is happening this morning, we already have a ton of snow falling currently across northern Indiana, far northwest Ohio, and southern Michigan. That is because a low pressure system is passing by. It is going to stay really just to the south of Lake Erie through the morning, which means a lot of our snowfall will continue to stay on the northern side of that low pressure system. So if you're in parts of Indiana, northwestern Ohio, or anywhere really in Michigan, that's where the bulk of this snow is going to be falling. By about lunchtime, that is when we're going to start to see the lake effect snow really ramp up, and this is where we're going to see big snowfall totals. We're talking upwards of 1 to even 1.5 feet of snow is going to be a possibility in some localized areas. One of the areas that I think that's going to happen in would be right over here, northwest Indiana, closer to areas like South Bend, in far southwestern Michigan, just to the west of Kalamazoo. That's where I think the greatest snowfall accumulation will be over the next 24 hours, as we're going to have a very strong northerly wind, which means there's a long fetch across the lake. And what that essentially means is that our wind is at a perfect angle over this lake, which is going to help to allow moisture to build up further over time, with it coming directly out of the north. It's traveling hundreds of miles over Lake Michigan, so that's going to really help to aid some very heavy snow bands throughout the daytime today. On top of that, snow is going to be stretching all across Ontario, also into far upstate New York, and also northern New England. And then by around sunset, that snow is going to continue to remain very heavy just over the border here into parts of Canada. The United States isn't going to really see much of this heavy snowfall that's really around our low pressure system. On the backside of that low pressure system, lake effect snow will continue all across Illinois, parts of Indiana, Michigan, and also northern Ohio. And then overnight, that's when snow will start to actually make its way into areas like Chicago and northwestern Indiana. That's when we actually could see a few inches of snow being a possibility in Chicago. And then during the morning hours on Monday, the snow will continue, especially in northwestern Indiana and far western Michigan. We could even see some snowfall into parts of eastern Kentucky near Pikeville, back into eastern Tennessee near Knoxville. We even have winter storm watches in effect for some of the higher elevations there in far eastern Tennessee. I wouldn't even rule out possibly a little bit of snow making its way into Nashville tomorrow afternoon, sometime around 12 or 2 o'clock. That is definitely a possibility. Some snow flurries are possible. If we saw accumulation in Nashville tomorrow, that would be the first time in history we've seen accumulation in Nashville before seeing accumulation in Denver. And then Tuesday evening, the snowfall will continue mainly across the Appalachian Mountains. By Tuesday morning, we're going to continue to see lake effect snow mainly near Lake Erie, so that's northwest Pennsylvania and western New York. Snow will wind down in Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan. We might have another quick band of snow Tuesday afternoon as another weak low pressure system passes. And then Wednesday morning, snow will continue mainly across Pennsylvania, New York, and far northern New England. Now, before I show you some of the computer models and what they're thinking in terms of snowfall snowfall, I thought it'd be kind of funny to show you the official National Weather Service forecast from Chicago, Illinois. They are forecasting anywhere from 1 to 15 inches of snow for Chicago out of this winter storm over the next couple of days. This is a massive range. You could basically see almost no snow, or you could see upwards of 15 inches. If you're over in Waukegan, that is anywhere from 0 to 11 inches of snowfall out of this winter weather event. Lake effect snow events are not easy to forecast. That is why these ranges are just so large, and it's going to depend on where this snow band actually lines up and sets up tomorrow, and also even late today. So again, these areas you could literally see nothing. You could also see a lot of snow. It's going to be a big range. But back over northwestern Indiana and extreme southwestern parts of Michigan, that is where we're anticipating upwards of 1 to 2 feet of snow. You could even see a few locations just to the west of South Bend get near 2 feet. So definitely get ready for some big snowfall. This is where we could see some travel problems, and that'll begin as early as late tonight and continue all the way through dusk tomorrow. Now, in terms of total snowfall accumulation across all of the Ohio Valley and the Northeast, this is what we basically can expect throughout the rest of this week. The most significant snowfall will be across northwestern Indiana, southwest Michigan. I don't think we're going to really see that much snowfall here in most of Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee. I think more than anything, this is just going to be a coating on elevated surfaces if you were to see accumulation. Otherwise, it'll be mostly snow flurries. That'll again primarily be on Monday. And then back over in northwest Pennsylvania, western New York, the snowfall totals have been downtrending here, where you initially thought maybe around 6 to 7 inches of snow would fall. Instead, we are leaning more towards the 2 to 6 inch range. A few isolated locations in extreme western New York could get closer to 8 to 10, but it's definitely a much smaller area than before. And then upstate New York, that is another area that we could see a few areas, mainly just to the east of Watertown, pick up around a foot of snow. And then back over in Ontario and really all across Canada, there could be upwards of 1 to 2 feet of snow in a very widespread area. And instead of here comes the sun, here comes the cold. We are about to see some very cold air usher into much of the United States over the next couple of days. This morning, most of our cold air is sitting across the Midwest, the Central Plains, and back into the Ohio Valley. That is all to the west of this low pressure system. But by tonight and tomorrow, that really cold air is going to sink all the way down into the southeast. And we are expecting some of the coldest air that we've seen literally since February of this year to impact areas like Tennessee and Kentucky. We could have some areas upwards of 30 degrees below average. Record-breaking low temperatures are a possibility, especially late Monday and Tuesday across the southeast. I do expect over a dozen records in Florida to be broken Tuesday morning, as we're expecting possibility of below freezing temperatures as far south as areas north of Orlando. So it's going to get very cold in Florida Tuesday morning. All that cold air will continue to basically cover the entire East Coast on Tuesday, and then by Wednesday and Thursday, most of the very cold air moves out, but it will still remain below average at least through the end of the week up and down the East Coast. And then by the weekend, warm air makes a return all across the Great Plains, which will likely set up for our next big storm, which I think will be sometime around the 17th or 18th. So this morning, temperatures are pretty cold across much of the United States. Our cold front has made its way all the way down to Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Kentucky, but it's only going to get colder by tomorrow morning. Freezing temperatures will drop all the way down into most of North Texas and also into parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. But Tuesday morning will truly be one of the coldest mornings that we've seen in a long time, especially down in Florida, where below freezing temperatures could make their way down to areas just barely to the north of Orlando, back over near areas like Ocala. That is where we could even see some below freezing temperatures. Frost is a possibility even in Orlando Tuesday morning. It's very rare to see cold weather like this in early to mid-November anywhere in Florida, so this is pretty surprising. All up and down the East Coast, we are expecting a widespread freeze, and then Wednesday morning, things will begin to warm back up again, but we're still going to be in the 40s and even upper 30s across Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. And then after this storm is all said and done, the middle and end of the week look pretty quiet for most of the United States. The only area that'll at least have some rain is mainly across the Northeast, where snow and rain will continue, and then back along the West Coast, atmospheric river events are coming up, which means plenty of rain, snow, and wind will be impacting northern and central California back through Washington and Oregon, mainly around Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then by next weekend is when our next big storm could be on the horizon. Low pressure possibly across the northern plains on Saturday. That could lead to a big storm system going into Sunday and Monday. We may see severe weather. We may even see a winter storm. Lots of question marks as of right now, as this is still about 7 days from now, but this is definitely a storm system that we'll have to watch very closely. Keep in mind, we are in the second severe weather season, and some big severe weather event like this is definitely not impossible this time of the year. And as always, thank you all so much for watching today's forecast. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. I also want to give you all a heads up that we will have our 24/7 weather camera live stream running all day today on our second channel, More Max Velocity. We have a bunch of different storm chasers, also weather cameras that are going to be inside of this winter storm storm. So definitely check this out. It is the top link in the description below, or look up More Max Velocity on YouTube. So make sure to check out the stream, and we'll see you all again in the next video or live stream.